This is the raw reality of what it's like being an entrepreneur, owning $1 million social media marketing agency or SMMA. I'm also a college student. I'm 19 years old. What does that all look like? What's the reality of that? What's the behind the scenes? So, a couple things I want to talk about in this video. Being an entrepreneur and being young, people ask me, like, how do you do this while being in school? That's one of the questions I get a lot. To answer that, it's really hard. Like, I thought about dropping out a lot. The reason I haven't is because I realized the opportunity cost is still kind of high. To kind of give you some context what that means for me, if I just focus on my company where, obviously we're scaling brands, we're making like decent revenue and money, and I have a team of 10 people right now, just for the past December. It's 10 employees under me. Just to drop out would mean that I'm kind of limiting myself in the future. And so if I wanted to go into a different field, if I want to have like public speaking abilities, ability to write well, to me it doesn't really make sense to drop out. So those are all good things. Maybe college can be a scam. I see that a lot. Like for a lot of people, it's really silly to get some like stupid degree, work in a company that you don't help anybody. You didn't need the degree to work there. Why did you spend $200,000 on it, or why are you in debt for 30 years after? Now, if you're a lawyer or a doctor, obviously it makes sense because you're getting a real skill. But yeah, I mean, for a lot of people, it can be a scam. For me, I don't think it is. For me, I think it's like super useful and helpful, and I think a lot of people should go to college. Again, another problem is like as an entrepreneur, when you become successful young, it really can affect your lifestyle. So like, what if you want to be young and like have friends your own age, right? I'm 19. Like people my age are either in college or in the military or they're in their parents' basement. Now, I'm definitely not gonna hang out with people in their parents' basement. Like that's just like not my vibe. People that are in the military are not here, right? Like my friend's in the Air Force, he's in England for 3 years, right? I'm not gonna see him right now anyway, right? The rest of my people that are my age, especially the ones that are strivers, that are hardworking, that are winners, that are people that you want to be around, that are fun to be around, that are smart, right? Those people are in college. So if I want to be around people that are a good influence, I should also be around them in college. Now, if I just said, let me get that experience of being in college while not actually doing it, people do that too. You can go to a college town and just live a lot your life in a college town, like near people your own age. I just think that if I were to do that, I would have nothing in common with those people. I would have nothing holding me to that place. And so that's why I wouldn't just like go live in Austin or New York City and just try to like go out with people my own age. I just don't think it makes as much sense for me to do that. Like I just feel like I'd have so little in common with them if I weren't also in college. And so that is why I actually do really value college. It helps me obviously socially, academically, it's very valuable. And then in terms of how I balance that with growing a company, for me it's the real secret is doing a lot of things virtually. So obviously anything in my company is virtual. My team members are in Utah, California. Actually, a lot of people that are like working really remotely, like in Pakistan, Philippines, where I can find like really good, cheap, high quality workers, high quality talent. Just a side note, a lot of the talent in the Philippines and Pakistan, they're way harder working than Americans. They charge way less. You don't pay taxes on that, and they're just way better. They're just so much more talented, and so for a lot of roles, by the way, if you have your own company, I recommend using Fiverr, Upwork, things like that to actually find really quality talent. Even LinkedIn, you can use to find really quality talent in those kinds of countries. Egypt as well. Egypt, Philippines, Pakistan are my top three for really quality talent, and then use Upwork, Fiverr, and LinkedIn to actually connect to those people, and you can pay anywhere from $5 to $50 an hour depending on what they're doing, and get really quality work. So that's one thing. But yeah, back to it. I'll take classes online, and obviously a lot of my work is online too. So I'm able to sit at my desk for a period of 5 to 8 hours at a time and just knock out a ton of tasks relevant to my business and to obviously my school. And then obviously I go to classes as well that I walk to, and that provides me a lot of other benefits. So obviously the academic of what I'm learning. Also, I get to see people every time I go on campus. I go to UT Austin. There's 40,000 students there. I don't know a ton of people, but I have enough friends that anytime I actually go on campus, I see people I know. So it's like great. It's fun every time just to go on campus. I get to walk, I get to get my steps, and I get to walk through a beautiful campus. There's like a lot of benefits to being a student in that way. And of course, I actually learn a lot, and it helps me with my business too because I'm able to learn how to format things really well. I've met some incredibly talented people that actually helped me with my company. Now, that's like a silly side benefit because the reality is you don't need to go to college to meet good people or to network. I think networking is really silly, and I think social media is actually the best place to network if you do want to, because you can actually tailor what you're doing on social media to find the best people for something. So college is not necessarily necessary for networking, in my opinion, although I don't know about everything. I only know my own industry. For social media, obviously, college is not that relevant for that. But maybe if I were an engineer, it would be more, or probably would be more relevant for that. So that's a big thing. I would say the biggest struggle of being like a 19-year-old entrepreneur is balancing things. So the thing is, the more success, if I want to be as successful as possible, all I need to do is work really hard, work really smart, hire good people. I need to sit at my desk typing longer, basically talking to people on the phone longer. I need to be hustling. I need to be grinding. So the more hard I work, the more I focus, the more successful I am. I've seen this very clearly. It's not like, oh, you need to be a digital nomad, and if you travel and you outsource and you have a lot of happy, fun things going on, then you'll make the most money and be the most successful. No, it's not like that for me. For this company, the harder I work, the more I get out. And so I've tried other things. Like I made big mistakes by like spending tons of money like on traveling abroad. I went to Israel for a month and a half. Paid for like 3 people to go. It was like a lot of fun, you know. But like my business suffered like crazy. I mean, our client results went down. Our sales went zero. Went from like great to like zero. Like a lot of our processes failed. This was a couple months ago. We fixed all of that now. But at the time, like I made everything fall apart by traveling. So I do feel like right now I have a struggle in the business where the more I succeed, the less I'm experiencing. And so the real thing I'm trying to do is balance it out. So let's say make sure I'm working as hard as possible because my number one priority is to scale this. I am trying to scale this into a minimum $5 to $10 million valuation, where it's at like 1 million right now. And I want to do that in 2025. You know, it's December 31st, 2024 right now. So I want to do that in 2025. So obviously I'm working hard. But I try to kind of block my time. So the way I do that is 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., right? Work hours. That's when my team is online. That's when I'm online. That's when my clients know I'm reachable. Obviously, that's when we're doing most of that kind of operations work. And then outside of that time, like it's important to me, obviously, to lift, to work out, to do that all in the morning, do my mind right. I pray every day. I'm Jewish. Pray every single day. In the morning, I put on tefillin. And then afterwards, after work, it's like I gotta do things. Like you gotta maximize for experience too. Like I don't want to, just be like a worm that sits in my room all the time. So even if you're really successful, to me, that's like not worth it to be. Let's say, I think about like what that would look like if I wanted to be maximally successful. Maybe I would never go out, right? And then maybe my net worth would be slightly higher, but it doesn't really make sense, right? Like that marginal extra $1 million or whatever it is isn't going to make you happier when you're actually just lonely and isolated and sad. Like watch Succession, watch any of those shows with like really successful people. They're all just sad, lonely, right? Selfish, greedy. Like all of those things come from valuing business more than relationships. And so you really don't want to value business more than relationships, I think. I think that's a really common problem and mistake, and I've definitely made it. But I'm not perfect at all. So my goal with that is to optimize for other things. So like, because I'm in college, it's actually really a struggle because I'll wake up at 5 a.m. and go lift, and I'll work, let's say, from like 9 a.m. for 3, 4, 5 p.m., right? Then I'll be done. And then I'm like tired. I want to relax. I want to have fun with people. I'll go golfing. I'll go eat dinner with people, things like that. But it's like hard because college students are not on that schedule. Like I'm 19. Every other 19-year-old, I feel, wakes up like 9 or 10 a.m., goes to class, goes home, eats, like chillaxes, watches TikTok, whatever, goes to their internship, goes to work, whatever. And then like I'm off like 5 p.m. and like hang out with my friends, and they're like studying, or they're working, through any clubs, or they have like formal events, frat parties, or whatever, like any night of the week. And so it's this weird thing where I do want to go to sleep at like 9 p.m. or at 8:30 p.m. because I want to wake up really early and grind and like very focused on my goals. But for other people my age, like this is when they're partying hard or studying late. Like people will just study. Like I have this one friend, he'll go to the lobby of our building and he'll just study, he'll start drinking Red Bulls, crank out a study session from like 6 p.m. to 4 a.m. on like a Tuesday night. That's just like crazy to me. Because like that's not my schedule. I'm the opposite of a night owl. But like, I feel like most college students are the opposite. So this is a big thing where I'm trying to figure out how can I have like a real experience in college in a way, like the college experience kind of, but also just like social experience, and just like life experiences, but also be maximally successful in my business. How can you balance both? Because just doing one of those things is obviously relatively simple. You just go all in on doing that one thing. But these are two things that literally take away from each other. The more successful I am in my business, the harder it is to be having experiences. The more experiences I have, the harder it is to wake up in the morning and actually grind it out, because I need to be at my desk at 9 a.m. to start actually making things happen. A big part of my company is reputation, because it's a service-based business. Reputation is very important. So when we say we're going to do something, we must do it. If we have a client who says, when's the video going to be ready? And I say, Tuesday, this video needs to be ready by Monday in the company, and we need to be able to send it to the client by Tuesday, right? Optimally, we would have finished it by Sunday and send it to them on Monday, a day early. So that's a business where I'm not removed from it. The business is connected to my ability to have a healthy lifestyle and actually deliver results. This is not Facebook or MySpace, or not MySpace, I don't know. This is not some kind of company where it's just an app that just gets downloads or something with a bunch of coders. This is a company where every single member has to actually work on things, deliver results, all of that in order to make it more successful. So, this is something that takes a lot of work. Like, it takes a lot of consistency. Also, for us to grow, we have a sales team now. I have a sales team that I'm building out. It's a couple people, including me. I do a lot of sales myself. But this is something where, like, they got to be selling constantly. You know how they sell constantly? You know how we always get money in the door and new clients? Is by having pipeline. Pipeline is options. You have a roster, right? Just like people talk about like dating, you need like a dating roster, like a bunch of people that you're going on dates with in order to get into a relationship or whatever. Like, you see this kind of stuff on social media all the time. For sales, you need a roster too. You need pipeline. How do you develop pipeline? It's all through content. It's all through inbound and outbound, right? So emails, content on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, right? So as the CEO, I'm kind of responsible for making that stuff happen. So it's a lot of stuff for me to do as of now. Like, I'm not only the CEO, I'm also in charge of marketing, the CMO. I'm also in charge of sales. I'm also the COO technically right now. Like, I have people doing operations, but none of them are running it. I have to manage them, so I'm the CEO also. So it's a lot of different hats, a lot of different roles, which is awesome because I like doing all that stuff. Like, there's a lot of benefits. Like, it's end of 2024, it's about to be 2025. I was listing out all the different benefits that like this business had for me. One of them is just tons of different skills I've been able to learn. Obviously, sales is a big one. I've closed hundreds of thousands of dollars in deals myself in the last 2 years, and that's been like an incredible skill. But beyond that, I mean, it's given me the ability to manage people. It's given me the ability to actually have relationships, like professional relationships. I mean, obviously real relationships too, but like professional relationships where I need to tell people what to do, where sometimes I need to give them tough love and critique them, which, like, I'm a people pleaser. Like, for me to be very assertive and direct with people can be very difficult. But that's a big thing that I've been able to learn. Hiring is big. And then, more importantly, firing. When someone turns bad, when you have bad apples, when people do things that are unethical or inappropriate. That's actually happened already. Like, I hired a college student and they acted really badly, and I had to end the relationship. So those kinds of things are very hard for me to do. It's just that it's really hard for me to be direct with negative things. Like, I can be direct with positive things, like, oh, that's great, that's whatever, that's good. But like, when it comes to being honest and critiquing people, it can be very difficult. So it's a very good skill that I'm grateful for this company for having enabled me to learn. Obviously a lot of other things like technical skills, right? Sales, copywriting, ability to write content, ability to write emails, ability to manage CRM, delegating, all those kinds of things. So it's been good for that. Plus, like, there's a lot of downsides to starting a company, but there are a lot of upsides. Obviously, financial is the biggest one. It's going to be a lot of freedom financially. Another big one is, like, I have a great credit score. Like, that's awesome, just because, like, you put things on a company credit card and you put it on auto pay, and then you're just set. So that's like really awesome. I'm really grateful for that too. Thank God. But yeah, the downsides, like people asking you for money. I had somebody try to manipulate me to give me them like 10K one time, and I almost did it. And I talked to my parents like, dude, it's a scam. And I didn't, thankfully. But yeah, people asking for money can be weird. What other weird things happen? I made a list. I actually made this list because 2024 I was like being really reflective as it ends. Let me tell you, the bad things. Yeah, I mean, when I got a car, I got scammed by a mechanic because I paid them up front and then they just left. Yeah, that was really bad, and they told me that I was like, I don't even know. That was upsetting. Let's see. Oh yeah, I met like a lot of toxic people through business. So I'll talk a little bit about that. A lot of people that I would say it's a red flag, and when you're working with somebody, if they use a lot of profanity. Now this may not be the case for everybody. Like there are some people where it's like very, to them it's like very normal, just be like cursing a lot. But I would say I've learned to watch out for people that curse a lot, because it shows a lack of respect, and it oftentimes shows that they are not self-aware. And to me, being self-aware is when you're able to separate your actions from who you are, as in you think before you act. And so a lot of non-self-aware people will curse people out, talk really, in a very crass way in front of you. And you kind of got to be careful with them because, sorry, I'm like trying to like cut this thread off my shirt. You got to be careful with them because check out this knife. I love this pocket knife. I'll show you the brand. It's kind of dope. Okay. You got to be careful with them because, first of all, if someone's talking to you badly to you about other people that you don't really know, it probably shows that they don't care about talking badly or gossiping about people in general. And that is bad because it means that they will likely gossip about you one day, because there's no reason that you are different from anybody else that they talk to. So number one, be aware of that. And then working with people like that have then turned on me. I've seen that, been scammed by like employees. Oh my gosh, that's the worst. That's like when you trust someone and they do that to you, it's like a stab in the back or like a stab in the heart. It's like very painful. So I would say that was like very painful. Even like I bought my Jeep and I realized that they overpaid. Like I overpaid. Like they like charged me too much. Let me just adjust this. That was really upsetting. Sorry, I'm just gonna look through more of my mistakes that I made. Oh yeah, so one of the big problems I made early on was like I didn't want to hire because I was afraid of spending money. Just because I was young, I could see the amount of money we had in the bank, and I just wanted to keep it there. So I was too afraid to hire experts, and instead I hired really, really bad, unqualified talent. What happened is clients weren't happy, clients were getting poor results, and I had to refund some clients. And that was really frustrating because obviously I lost way more by refunding the clients than I would have just not lost, than I would have spent if I'd actually invested in quality employees. So the biggest lesson I probably learned is hire good talent. And if you hire good talent, you make more. It's truly an investment of the highest caliber. Now, in addition to that investment, the other investment that I recently learned about was actually investing. So I was doing a lot of stuff with stocks in the past, and like, let me adjust this more. Really, like, I didn't see a lot of success with it. Like, I was doing a lot of stuff with Robinhood and like day trading and stuff, and I basically just lost money that my company was making, which was really stupid of me. And so then I stopped investing for a long time, put my money in the bank, and then, like I said, I started spending money on silly things like $10,000 plus trips to Israel. I bought a car, I sold it, bought a different car. So I sold that car at a big loss, bought a different car. Went off-roading in my Jeep, spent like $5K on repairs. So yeah, like a lot of like bullshit things that a 19-year-old you can kind of expect a 19-year-old to do when they make a couple of dollars. But I'd say, yeah, investing in quality team members, and now like investing, like I maxed out my Roth IRA. Like I'm all in on like my actual like legitimate portfolio in Vanguard, investing in ETFs, S&P 500, all that. So like having a Roth IRA, doing all that, that's like something I really recommend to young, because if you're actually making legitimate money, and it's in the bank, you think you can spend it. You think that you are a boss and that you deserve to spend it and that you're rich. And while that feels great to feel, the problem is when you start acting on that, you become the opposite of rich, okay? If you make $1 million a day and you spend $1 million a day, then you're worth $0. You're not a millionaire. So that's just an example. I don't make that much. But the problem with being like a young guy, I think, and high testosterone, whatever it is you start to really feel invincible really easily. And so that's great to be confident, but like I've definitely taken that too far before and gotten carried away. So that's one thing I'll say: don't get carried away. We start to make good money online. And yeah, another thing I'll say is if you have a company and you're an entrepreneur, like being an entrepreneur is the best. I'm all in on it. Like this is because I hated being in other organizations, and I went to summer camps growing up and things like that. And they were fun, but even like in school, I was just always unhappy there. I always hated other rules. I always hated the regulations. I always hated being on somebody else's time. All of the lifestyle aspects, driving far and all that BS. So having a company to me is like the best thing ever. It's the biggest opportunity ever. It's the greatest thing. I love it. But it's not for everybody. Like if you're not working a 9 to 5, you're working a 24/7, and that's the reality. Now I keep Shabbat. I take Saturdays off, completely off of technology, completely offline. But I would say, like, if you're not working a 9 to 5, you are working a 24/7, or in my case, 24/6. Every other day is packed. There are always things to do, even when I'm out, even when I'm traveling, even when I'm with my family, or out with people or friends or whatever. You got to realize that, like, this is a thing. Like, you still have people that might have problems or emergencies or need help, or a client that you need to answer. So I try to keep my client communication during the day. That's been really positive, but the reality is you got to be kind of on task and ready for whatever might happen. And so if shit hits the fan, you got to be ready to catch it. So I just came that was quite a saying I just came up with. Gross. But yeah, those are some of the thoughts that I have on my business. And yeah, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed. If you made it this far, comment below, where you're from, let's say. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.